The story of the 12 tribes of Israel begins with Jacob, the grandson of Abraham, a central figure in biblical history. Jacob was chosen by God and later renamed Israel, meaning one who struggles with God. He had 12 sons, each of whom became the patriarch of a distinct tribe, forming the foundation of the ancient nation of Israel. These tribes were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. However, Joseph's portion was later divided between his 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, giving them separate tribal inheritances. Under the leadership of Moses, the Israelites escaped slavery in Egypt and journeyed toward the Promised Land, fulfilling God's covenant with Abraham. After years of wandering in the wilderness, the tribes settled in Canaan, the land promised to their ancestors. Each tribe was allotted a specific territory except for the Levites, who were designated as priests and given cities among the other tribes instead of a land inheritance. The 12 tribes lived as a confederation, ruled by judges and prophets until they unified under a single monarchy. During the reigns of King David and King Solomon, Israel reached the height of its power. David established Jerusalem as the nation's capital, and Solomon built the magnificent First Temple, solidifying the Israelites' religious and national identity. However, after Solomon's death, tensions between the northern and southern tribes escalated. His son, Rehoboam, imposed heavy taxes and harsh policies, leading to a devastating split in the kingdom. In 931 BC, the once unified nation of Israel was divided into 2 separate kingdoms. The southern kingdom, known as Judah, consisted primarily of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin and maintained its capital in Jerusalem. Meanwhile, the northern kingdom, called Israel, was made up of the other 10 tribes, with its capital in Samaria. This division marked the beginning of Israel's decline and made it vulnerable to foreign invasions. The northern kingdom quickly fell into idolatry and political instability, rejecting the religious traditions that had once united the Israelites. Despite repeated warnings from prophets like Hosea, Amos, and Isaiah, the people continued their rebellion against God. This disobedience eventually led to divine judgment. In 722 BC, the powerful Assyrian Empire conquered the northern kingdom of Israel, exiling its population and scattering the 10 tribes across foreign lands. Over time, these tribes assimilated into different cultures, losing their distinct identity and earning the title of the Lost Tribes of Israel. Their disappearance remains one of the greatest mysteries of biblical history. While the southern kingdom of Judah survived for a few more centuries before being conquered by Babylon, the fate of the 10 lost tribes remains uncertain. Some believe they were fully absorbed into other nations, while others argue that their descendants still exist today, awaiting rediscovery. The fate of the 10 lost tribes of Israel is one of the most enduring mysteries in biblical history. These tribes once formed the northern kingdom of Israel but vanished from recorded history after their exile by the Assyrian Empire in 722 BC. Their disappearance has led to centuries of speculation, theories, and claims regarding their possible descendants. The division of the United Kingdom of Israel occurred after the death of King Solomon in 931 BC. Due to heavy taxation and oppressive policies imposed by his son, Rehoboam, the 10 northern tribes revolted, breaking away to form their own kingdom. This northern kingdom, simply called Israel, was led by the tribe of Ephraim and established its capital in Samaria. Meanwhile, the southern kingdom, known as Judah, was primarily composed of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, with its capital in Jerusalem. From the beginning, the northern kingdom struggled with idolatry and political instability. The kings of Israel repeatedly led their people away from God's covenant, despite warnings from prophets like Hosea, Amos, and Isaiah. Instead of worshiping in Jerusalem, they built their own temples and introduced pagan practices, angering God. The prophets warned that if Israel did not repent, it would face divine punishment. In 722 BC, those warnings came to pass when the powerful Assyrian Empire, under King Shalmaneser V and his successor, Sargon II, invaded Israel. The Assyrians conquered Samaria, the capital of the northern kingdom, and carried away its people. According to 2 Kings 17:6, the Israelites were exiled and relocated to various parts of the Assyrian Empire, including Hala, Gozan on the Habor River, and towns of the Medes. This forced migration effectively erased their tribal identities over time, unlike the Babylonian exile of Judah, where the Jewish people retained their religious and cultural identity and eventually returned to their homeland. The 10 northern tribes never returned. The Assyrians practiced a strategy of forced assimilation, ensuring that conquered peoples were scattered and absorbed into different cultures. Over the centuries, the exiled Israelites blended with surrounding populations, losing their distinct tribal heritage and disappearing from history. This event marked the beginning of the legend of the lost tribes of Israel. While some historians believe they were fully assimilated, others suggest that remnants of these tribes survived in secret, preserving fragments of their ancient traditions. Various groups across the world today claim descent from these lost tribes, fueling ongoing debates about their true fate. Though the 10 tribes vanished, the southern kingdom of Judah endured for another 136 years before falling to Babylon in 586 BC. The Jewish people of Judah, who were later known simply as Jews, managed to maintain their identity and eventually return to their homeland. However, the fate of the 10 lost tribes remains a profound historical and religious mystery, inspiring countless theories and prophecies regarding their possible return. For centuries, the mystery of the 10 lost tribes of Israel has sparked curiosity and debate. While historical records suggest that these tribes were exiled and assimilated into foreign cultures, several groups across the world claim to be their descendants. These communities, despite being scattered across different continents, have preserved traditions, customs, and even oral histories that they believe connect them to the lost tribes. Some of these claims have gained recognition from religious and historical scholars, while others remain subjects of controversy. One of the most well-documented groups is the Beta Israel, or Ethiopian Jews, who believe they are descendants of the tribe of Dan. Their presence in Ethiopia stretches back thousands of years, and they have maintained many ancient Jewish customs, including observing the Sabbath, practicing circumcision, and following kosher dietary laws. Their tradition tells of a migration from Israel to Ethiopia, possibly through Egypt, where they established a Jewish community that remained isolated for centuries. In the late 20th century, the Israeli government recognized the Beta Israel as part of the Jewish people, leading to large-scale immigration efforts such as Operation Moses 1984 and Operation Solomon 1991, which brought thousands of Ethiopian Jews to Israel. In India, the Bani Israel community claims to be descendants of the tribe of Ephraim. According to their oral tradition, their ancestors were shipwrecked off the coast of western India, possibly during the Assyrian exile, and formed a small but enduring Jewish community. Despite being isolated from mainstream Jewish populations for centuries, they continued to observe Sabbath rituals, circumcision, and dietary restrictions. In modern times, many members of the Bene Israel have migrated to Israel, further strengthening their connection to the broader Jewish world. In Afghanistan and Pakistan, the Pashtun people, also known as Pathans, claim descent from the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh. Many Pashtun tribes refer to themselves as Bani Israel, children of Israel, and practice customs that bear a striking resemblance to ancient Jewish traditions. These include circumcision on the 8th day, avoiding pork, and maintaining laws of ritual purity. While the claim that the Pashtuns are linked to the lost tribes is debated, their oral history and cultural practices continue to intrigue scholars. In Nigeria, the Igbo people assert that they are descendants of the tribes of Gad and Zebulun. Certain Igbo traditions, such as circumcision on the 8th day, dietary laws, and the observance of Jewish festivals, closely mirror ancient Israelite customs. In recent years, a growing number of Igbo individuals have formally converted to Judaism, and some have even immigrated to Israel. Another fascinating group is the Limba people of Zimbabwe and South Africa, who claim descent from the tribe of Levi. Their oral traditions state that their ancestors migrated from the Middle East to Africa centuries ago. Genetic studies have revealed that a significant percentage of Lemba men carry the Cohen modal haplotype, a genetic marker associated with the priestly line of Aaron, adding credibility to their claims. Though these groups remain scattered across the globe, their persistent traditions and claims raise the question: could they be the long-lost remnants of ancient Israel? The claims of various groups around the world identifying as descendants of the 10 lost tribes of Israel have sparked significant interest and debate. While some scholars remain skeptical, several pieces of evidence suggest that these groups may indeed have ties to ancient Israel. The most compelling proof comes from cultural traditions, religious practices, oral histories, and even genetic studies that point to a potential connection with the lost tribes. One of the strongest indicators is the preservation of Jewish customs and rituals among these communities, despite their geographic isolation. Many groups such as the Beta Israel of Ethiopia, the Beni Israel of India, and the Lemba of Zimbabwe have upheld practices that align closely with ancient Jewish traditions. These include observing the Sabbath, practicing circumcision on the 8th day, following kosher dietary laws, and celebrating Jewish festivals. In some cases, these customs remained intact for centuries, even without direct contact with mainstream Jewish populations. The Beta Israel, Ethiopian Jews, claim descent from the tribe of Dan and have practiced Judaism for thousands of years. Their religious observances, including strict adherence to biblical laws and temple-like worship traditions, suggest an ancient connection to Israel. In the 1980 seconds and 1990 seconds, their claims were recognized by the Israeli government, leading to large-scale immigration efforts to bring them back to Israel. Similarly, the Beni Israel of India, who trace their lineage to the tribe of Ephraim, have maintained Jewish customs despite centuries of separation from other Jewish communities. Their continued practice of Sabbath observance, dietary restrictions, and circumcision has strengthened arguments for their Israelite heritage. In Africa, the Lemba people of Zimbabwe and South Africa provide an even more fascinating case. The Lemba claim to be descendants of the tribe of Levi and have preserved ancient Israelite customs, including circumcision, kosher-style dietary laws, and ritual slaughtering practices. The most compelling evidence for their claim comes from genetic testing. Studies have shown that a significant percentage of Lemba men carry the Cohen modal haplotype, a genetic marker associated with the priestly line of Aaron, which further supports their claim of Israelite ancestry. In Afghanistan and Pakistan, the Pashtun tribes, also known as Pathans, claim descent from Ephraim and Manasseh. Their oral traditions refer to themselves as Bani Israel, children of Israel, and they maintain cultural practices similar to Jewish customs, such as circumcision on the 8th day, dietary laws, and a strong tribal structure. While definitive proof remains elusive, the combination of oral traditions, preserved religious customs, and genetic findings suggests that at least some of these groups may indeed be linked to the lost tribes of Israel. Their stories continue to fuel interest in the mystery of the lost tribes, offering potential clues to one of history's most enduring enigmas. The mystery of the 10 lost tribes of Israel is not just a historical question, but also a significant part of biblical prophecy. According to the Bible, these tribes were scattered among the nations as a consequence of their disobedience. But their story does not end there. Several prophecies in the Old and New Testament suggest that the lost tribes will one day return, reunite with Judah, and play a crucial role in the end times. One of the most powerful prophetic visions concerning the return of the lost tribes is found in Ezekiel 37, often referred to as the Valley of Dry Bones prophecy. In this passage, the prophet Ezekiel sees a valley full of dry bones, which represent the scattered people of Israel. God tells him that these bones will come back to life, symbolizing the restoration and reunification of all 12 tribes. I will make them one nation in the land, on the mountains of Israel. There will be one king over all of them, and they will never again be two nations or be divided into two kingdoms. Ezekiel 37:22. This prophecy is widely interpreted as a promise that God will bring back the lost tribes, reunite them with the people of Judah, and restore the nation of Israel under a single ruler, often believed to be the Messiah. Another key prophecy about the return of the lost tribes is found in Isaiah 11:12, which describes a future gathering of Israel's exiles. He will raise a banner for the nations and gather the exiles of Israel. He will assemble the scattered people of Judah from the four quarters of the earth. This verse emphasizes that the regathering of Israel will not be limited to just the Jews from the Babylonian exile, but will include a much larger global restoration, one that many believe involves the return of the 10 lost tribes. The book of Revelation also makes a striking reference to the 12 tribes of Israel in the end times. In Revelation 7, the Apostle John describes a vision in which 144,000 people, 12,000 from each tribe of Israel, are sealed for protection during the Great Tribulation. Then I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 from all the tribes of Israel. Revelation 7:4. This passage reinforces the idea that the lost tribes are not truly forgotten and that they will play a role in God's final plan. Many believe that the reappearance of groups claiming descent from these tribes, such as the Beta Israel, Bene Israel, Pashtuns, Igbo, and Lemba, could be a sign that these ancient prophecies are beginning to unfold. Ultimately, the Bible assures that God has not abandoned the lost tribes. Their return is seen as a key part of the Messianic age, a time when Israel will be fully restored and God's kingdom will be established on earth. The 10 lost tribes of Israel are not just a historical mystery. They are also believed to play a crucial role in biblical prophecy concerning the end times. According to various Old Testament prophecies and New Testament revelations, these tribes will not remain lost forever. Instead, they will be gathered back from the nations where they were scattered, reunited with Judah, and restored as part of God's divine plan. Many biblical scholars and religious believers see this prophesied regathering as a key sign of the approaching Messianic age. The book of Ezekiel, Ezekiel 37:15-22, speaks directly about the future reunification of the lost tribes with Judah. In this passage, the prophet Ezekiel is instructed by God to take 2 sticks, one representing Judah and the other representing Ephraim, the leading tribe of the northern kingdom, symbolizing the 10 lost tribes. God commands him to join the 2 sticks together, signifying that Israel will once again be united. I will make them one nation in the land, on the mountains of Israel. There will be one king over all of them, and they will never again be 2 nations or be divided into 2 kingdoms. Ezekiel 37:22. This prophecy suggests that the division of Israel caused by the Assyrian exile of the 10 northern tribes is not permanent. Many theologians believe that this reunification will happen under the rule of the Messiah, who will establish a restored kingdom of Israel. Another significant prophecy is found in Isaiah 11:12, where the prophet Isaiah describes how God will regather the remnants of his people from across the world. In that day, the Lord will reach out his hand a second time to reclaim the surviving remnant of his people from Assyria, from Lower Egypt, from Upper Egypt, from Cush, from Elam, from Babylonia, from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. This passage reinforces the belief that the 10 lost tribes are not forgotten and that their return will be a defining event in the end times. Some believe that the modern return of groups claiming Israelite descent, such as the Beta Israel, Ethiopian Jews, Bene Israel, Indian Jews, Pashtun tribes, Igbo Jews, and Lemba people could be a precursor to the final gathering prophesied in the Bible. The New Testament, particularly in the book of Revelation, Revelation 7:4-8, further emphasizes the role of the 12 tribes in the final days. The Apostle John describes a vision in which 144,000 individuals, 12,000 from each tribe, are sealed by God to serve as his witnesses during the Great Tribulation. This vision implies that the lost tribes will be found and will take part in God's final plan for humanity. Ultimately, the return of the lost tribes is seen as a supernatural act of God, one that signals the approaching fulfillment of biblical prophecy. Many believers view these emerging claims of lost Israelite descendants as evidence that we are moving closer to the Messianic age, when all of Israel will be restored under one divine kingdom. The story of the 10 lost tribes of Israel has fascinated historians, theologians, and believers for centuries. While their fate seemed uncertain for thousands of years, biblical prophecy assures that they are not forgotten. The Bible repeatedly speaks of a time when these lost tribes will be regathered, restored, and reunited with Judah, an event that many believe is gradually unfolding in our modern world. Today, various groups across the globe, such as the Beta Israel of Ethiopia, Bene Israel of India, Pashtun tribes of Afghanistan and Pakistan, Igbo Jews of Nigeria, and the Lemba people of southern Africa, claim to be descendants of these lost tribes. Many of these groups have preserved ancient Jewish customs, oral traditions, and even genetic markers that suggest a possible link to Israel. Their reappearance has led many to question whether we are witnessing the beginnings of the prophesied regathering of Israel. Biblical passages such as Isaiah 11:12, Ezekiel 37, and Revelation 7 point toward a future reunification of all 12 tribes. According to these prophecies, their return will not be by chance but by divine intervention, signaling the approach of the Messianic age. Many see the modern return of Jewish exiles to Israel, including Ethiopian Jews airlifted in the 20th century, as an early fulfillment of these ancient prophecies. If this process continues, it could indicate that we are living in a time of prophetic significance. Beyond religious prophecy, the story of the lost tribes offers a deeper lesson about identity, perseverance, and the human spirit. Whether or not all these groups are truly descendants of ancient Israel, their unwavering belief in their heritage speaks to the power of faith and cultural survival. Many of them have endured oppression, discrimination, and exile, yet they have clung to traditions that connect them to something greater than themselves. In many ways, the story of the lost tribes mirrors the struggles of displaced peoples throughout history. From the Jewish diaspora after the fall of Jerusalem to the forced migrations of other communities, the longing for home and identity is a universal theme. The modern world continues to see refugee crises, cultural assimilation, and the search for lost heritage, all of which echo the biblical tale of the lost tribes. Their story reminds us that history is not just about the past, it is about the unfolding journey of people seeking to reclaim their roots and find where they truly belong. Whether one views the return of the lost tribes as a fulfillment of prophecy or a rediscovery of forgotten history, one thing remains certain: their story is far from over. As new research, migrations, and discoveries emerge, the mystery of the lost tribes continues to captivate the world, perhaps as a sign that their ultimate return is still to come.